Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Mena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pascharta Deshutarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Kripa Tamam Vande Shri Guru Dina Tarinam. Hare Krishna. Tapo Divyam Putra Kayana Sattva. We started 2 days back about the importance of austerity. The 4 pillars which sadhaka always have to maintain: tapa, saucham, daya, and satyam. So these pillars are the essence of the sadhaka's life. Now, tapasya. So who will do tapasya? In the age of Kali, it's very difficult to do any austerities. Because our absorption is kept in so many other unwanted things. Sadhaka should always check that what are his goals, what are his aspirations, what he should do, what he shouldn't do. Anukulyana sankalpa pratikulyasya varjana. Which things he has to accept, which things he has to reject. If you see, when Rukmini Devi, when Mother Rukmini, she was hearing from a sadhu about the importance of Krishna. She was trying to hear. She didn't know anything about the Lord. She doesn't know anything. She didn't know who he was. But as soon as she began hearing, she had wonderful qualities. Through that qualities, the hearing became very tangible. It has existence because she just accepted whatever the sadhu was explaining it to her. And then through that hearing process, she slowly cultivated relationship with the Lord. And then she began thinking about him. She developed so much attachment with the Supreme Personality of Godhead that Lord had to come to take him, to take her to his place. So this we see actually. So Lord is readily available if we have that attitude. He's so he's so merciful and kind that he doesn't put the sadhaka in a complacent state. If we also see the example of Arjuna, he was definitely in a difficult state. What was the difficult state? He had to kill his family members. But if you see, the moment he submitted himself, which is very important, we see in the example of Mother Rukmini, she was so submissively hearing. The oral reception was perfect. And then through that continuous hearing, what is happening is the way she see the things is totally different actually. Awareness is the key, dear devotees. If one really wants to make progress in Krishna consciousness, his awareness is right up to the mark. It should be right up to the mark. One cannot actually go away from that state. He cannot. He actually he shouldn't, because when he comes to that state, the state of acceptance, actually most of the most of the cases we generally do not take the association because of the lack of acceptance. But here in this example, she had everything, but still the presence of the Lord was missing in her life. So as soon as the sadhu came into her life, she received everything. And then later on, her life became transformed in such a way that without his presence, she doesn't see anything else. That means he has to be there. This is a this is actually very divine acceptance, and this is actually very a complete state where sadhaka doesn't have anything else. He has he doesn't feel anything else other than to please the Lord and to please his followers. So this is the greatest state, dear devotees. This consciousness is something profound, because in most of the cases what happens is we commit we commit some offenses, we commit, so we didn't know how to accept certain things. We have confusions, we have complacencies, we have so many other things. If you actually see, if you see through the life of Srila Prabhupada, he met a spiritual master only few times. But in those few times, his conviction was so deep, his faith in the process was so deep that he didn't have anything else in his life. That means his entire life, either he might be there with his family, or he might be doing the business. Everything, everything is for the pleasure of the Lord. Everything is for the pleasure of the spiritual master. This fixed up consciousness is so sublime. When this fixed up consciousness comes into one's life, then everything which he does, Sarvam Krishna Arpanam, it means it has to be submitted to the Lord. Because I was thinking about this, dear devotees. If you actually see the life of a sadhaka, slowly but steadily. See, initially when we come to the process, they might say, okay, this is good, this is that. Okay, you are practicing, you are coming. That is it. That itself is great. But slowly, when the relationship is developed, one shouldn't aspire anything else from this world. Dear devotees, if you see the aspirations of this world, let's say if a person aspires for some name, fame, profit, adoration, what is that? What kind of aspiration is that? That aspiration will keep that sadhaka here only, because not just that, not just the sadhaka is kept here, but he will not receive the taste of Krishna consciousness. Because the taste of Krishna consciousness only comes when he is at least on a platform of selflessness. Selflessness means nothing belongs to me. It belongs to the Lord. And we see through the life of the Acharyas. A few days back, we were discussing about an important aspect of how Srila Narottam Das Thakur Maharaj was so dedicated to his spiritual master, Srila Lokanath Goswami Maharaj. But his spiritual master was not accepting him because he wants everything to be clean slate. He's not in a position of acceptance, and also it is the arrangement of the Lord. They are like exalted Vaishnava acharyas. The Lord wanted to show the greatness of his devotees to the entire world. So Narottam Thakur, he was there, but what happened was he was a rich man. Lokanath Goswami Maharaj he was not ready to accept. So he was trying to figure out what to be done, what to be done. You all know, right? We discussed about this before. That he began cleaning the place of where Lokanath Goswami Maharaj would pass urine and stool. He began to clean up that place every day, perfect. Because somehow he wanted to please his spiritual master. Those days, they had they those days they had to please the spiritual master first. Then they used to get that mercy. It was so profound actually. Because now when we come to the moment, generally we do not. Generally, everyone is accepted. Generally, we don't see that, oh, the spiritual master has to be pleased and then we get mercy. No, it's not like that. They're ready to give the mercy irrespective of our situation. But we ourselves, we need to see that what else have to be done, what else has to be done. When we see that, then it's a greatest thing we do. It is the time flies. I again repeat, time flies, doesn't stay like this forever. Been observing this a lot because what is this time factor, dear devotees? That is not in our hands actually. For example, if you're traveling somewhere, if your train is at 5 p.m., then you should be there at least by 4:30. To see that you take the train and then go to your destination. If the train is at 5, if you come at 6, will that work? No. Because the time, we are bounded to the time. Time is not bounded to us. We are actually bounded. Just like just like when the time goes by, our body do change. Our way of seeing the things are changed. It's not like that. 50, 30 years back, we were different. Now we are different. 30 years later, we will be different. I've seen so many of my cousins when I was a small child. They were in their youth, but now slowly their body is getting deteriorated. So that means if we practice the process or not, the things which are supposed to happen in this life, it will happen. And now I see them. They were 20 years back. They were very strong, but now they're not like that. You can literally see actually how this time is actually taking us away. Mrityu sarva haraschaham. The death will take away everything actually. Sarva haraschaham. Not something or 10% or 5% or 20%. It takes away everything. That means what, dear devotees? That means whatever we have, it we have to leave. Now we might make arrangements, so I will not leave. I will stay here for longer period of time. But there's no guarantee for that. So before that happens, one has to realize himself. But he's a servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord and his devotees. That one has to realize. That realization doesn't come, then it's a difficult place. Then this material world is a difficult place. Again, we have to take another birth. Again, we have to come here. Again, we have to go through so many things. Again, one has to take shelter of another mother's womb. We don't know what kind of mother is human mother or animal mother. We don't know. We have no idea. And before that, there's a chance of going to the hellish planets through the activities and actions we have done in this life or in the previous lives. So there's always there's always all of these things which do come into consideration. Because, dear devotees, we are not here to get something, or we are not here to establish something. We are here to give something, and we are here to do something. That's something which we have to give, and that something which we have to do is what the process of self realization is. Atata Brahma Jigyasa should inquire, who am I? What is the purpose of this life? Is my actions and are my activities which I am doing in this life, are that helping to come to that state that I am a spirit soul, part and parcel of the Lord? These things we should always check. Arjuna was checking that because he has not felt, he was convinced, he was fixed up that, oh my dear Lord, I mean, I'm speaking everything, but somehow I'm not happy accepting these things. Why is it like that? He inquired from the Lord. And then through that inquiry, even inquiry should not be done just like that. That inquiry also has to be done with submission. Through his submission only, Krishna opened his heart. Because if it was a just mere inquiry, which doesn't have any value, then the Lord wouldn't have spoken those things. Arjuna really inquired. Remember Svirchanashra telling, he says, if an inquiry is done without any substance in it, that means there is no weightage. That means you just ask, that's it. That means the action will not be there. Then what's the point of that inquiry? The point of that inquiry doesn't make any effect, doesn't give any satisfaction, because there is no action around it. For example, you are speaking with your manager at your office or your director, and then you say, okay, we will implement this. I have a team of 5. I have this project, and I'll implement this in like 3 weeks or so. And then he says, okay, you asked him, and then he gave that. And then later on, after 3 weeks, after a week or two, the director would ask, what's the status of this? And then he said, oh, what status you're talking about? And then when we say what status you're talking about, then he says, a couple of weeks back we discussed about this, that you'll be doing this project within 3 weeks, and then you have you have allocated 5 resources to that. Then when we say that, oh, I did not work on that, will that be right? That's not right. You said something, you inquired from him that this is how we'll be doing it, and then he gave a solution how to do it, and then later on, after a couple of weeks, we did not do or work on it. Then what is that? Will he be upset with us? Yes, he will be, because then he will know that, oh, you are just inquiring, but you are not doing the actions. That means you are putting an endeavor, but there is no effort in return. So when this is repeated twice or thrice, what they will do? They will they will remove the resource, giving these reasons, because they have a reasons. Everything is documented, and then through that reason, the person is removed. But for this, dear devotees, for the example which I gave, for that we will actually put our efforts so much. We will put continuous efforts. Oh, let me do this. Let me work on this. Because for that, you see immediate results. What is that immediate result? You see a pay after 15 days. You did an action, you received a result. You see that, right? But the thing is, the process of Krishna consciousness, we might not see the results right away. So that doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It does work. Chanting of Hare Krishna does work. Hearing the truth every day does work. These things have to be addressed. But the only thing is, the Lord is giving us opportunities again and again. He's not like the director who removes the resources after a couple of times. He's that kind of a loving father who gives us permissions again and again, who gives us the chances again and again. Now he's thinking whether my child will do it in this way or not. If he doesn't, then he'll give the chance again. Next time again, next time again. Not this life, life after life. When we think about this, is it good thing to not take this completely with our heart and heart, with our life and soul? Actually, we are troubling ourselves through this. It's not like somebody else is troubled. It's not like someone else is affected. We are affected with this. Not just we, our family is also affected. I was talking to the devotees for the last 5 days at Seattle. They're going through difficulties. They have problems, issues, they have concerns. They really want to take, but they have they've been kept in difficult states. So what is this happening, dear devotees? At every moment, padam padam yadvipadam natesham, there is danger at every step. Or we might not have dangers in our life, but others are going through that. Devotees are going through those difficulties. Through that, the faith is shaken. Definitely, it will shake. Now, there is another instance where if the Lord is giving difficulties again and again, will that give the sadhaka an opportunity to take complete shelter? It's a half and half. There might be, might not be also. There's no certainty or guarantee for that, dear devotees. If the faith is not strong, or if the acceptance of the process is not strong, the devotees will leave because of those difficulties, thinking that the Lord is not helping me in those difficulties. But rather, we do not understand that the Lord is giving us a more opportunity, a deeper way, a deeper way to be convinced. Just like Mother Rukmini, she had difficulties because she didn't like to get married other than someone else, other than Krishna. So she sent a message to the Lord. But my dear master, if you do not come, I'll give up my life. Because I cannot imagine other than you, anyone else as my husband. And then the Lord knows that she's really speaking that. And then he immediately comes on, he immediately jumps into that situation. And then he moves forward and then he takes Rukmini Devi from the difficult state. This is what our acharyas are asking. We see through the life of Srila Prabhupada, that's what he did. We see through the life of pure devotees, that's what they do. We see through the life of the followers of Srila Prabhupada, that's what they did. And then they're continue to do. Our focus should not be on these things, dear devotees. Our focus should be on the Lord. Our focus should be on the life of our acharyas. If our focus is on that, then you'll make so much progress. We cannot imagine how much progress we will make. So much. Doesn't matter whether we have offenses or not. Doesn't matter whether we have anarthas or not. Doesn't matter. Consciously, when we do everything for their satisfaction, it is the greatest hope in this world. No one will give hope in this world because nobody knows what is the real essence. Nobody can give hope. It's all false hopes of this world. Everything is on a temporary plane. Whatever you see, I was just observing yesterday. Everything is on a temporary plane. How is that, dear devotees? You go to the store, so you see a bottle of water that has a date on it. You buy something that has a date on it. You explore something else that has a date on it. Wherever you go, that has a date on it. This body that has a date on it. At every moment, we see everything is on a temporary plane. The seasons are changing. Now the seasons are changing. Summer is gone. The fall is coming. That has a date on it. After fall, winter comes. That has a date on it. Again spring, again summer. So the seasons are changing. Year by year, things are moving up. Through that, our body is also changing. That has a date on it. Do we always stay or work at our office like that? We are working, but do we continuously work? That has a date on it. Wherever you go, whatever you do, whatever you see, you're taking a flight. If the flight is delayed, then the time which you're supposed to go, that is also delayed. Then you take that flight. That has a date on it. For example, if your flight is 2 days before and then you're boarding it today, they say no, this is not valid because you're supposed to travel 2 days before. That has a date on it. That means whatever you did, it has to go through that instance only. And then after that, it's gone. It's vanquished. For example, if we did not chant our rounds today, that means it's gone. Today is gone in one's life. And when you begin chanting tomorrow, that means the chanting which you are supposed to do yesterday, that was not done. That is a date on it. So at every moment, Lord has kept us in a situation. Through that situation, we can either come to Him or we can go away from Him. Because everything has a date. And whatever we did today, that is the stepping stone for tomorrow. If we did practice sincerely, then it gives another opportunity to practice. If we do not, then that's gone. That day is gone. We apply all of these things to whatever is most important to us. If the science of Krishna consciousness is the most important, if we feel that this is the most important gift, then no one can stop you doing devotees. But when we don't feel that this is the most important thing, then we see the other things. That's when Maya comes in. She's always there. But when we are always taking shelter of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, she will not affect us. She will not impact us. But she stays as a watchful person right next to us. Please understand this. She is always with us. Just like Krishna is with us, just like our spiritual master is with us, material nature, she is with us too. The moment we turn away from Guru Sadhu Shastra, then she comes in. That means the Jiva, he doesn't have any choice. He has two choices. Take the shelter of the internal energy or the external energy. Because he is tatastha. He is the marginal. Marginal means it's a dependent. We are dependent actually. People who say that we are not dependent, that's another foolishness. I give unlimited reasons to prove again and again that we are so dependent. So that jiva, dear devotees, who's in the marginal energy, he can take the shelter of the Lord. If he doesn't take shelter of the Lord, he has to take shelter of the material nature. There's no other way around. That means there is no third option. There's only two options always. That is the reason also mind is designed like that by the Lord. What is the nature of the mind? Sankalpa and Vikalpa. What is that? Acceptance and rejection. The moment we accept, we move forward. The moment we reject it, we move backwards. As simple as that. Pretty straightforward, very simple. The moment we do not take shelter of the Lord, then we take shelter of His energy. The moment we take shelter of His energy, we are not taking shelter of the Lord. No, I cannot take shelter of the Lord and His energy at the same time. We cannot do that. We can either take this or that. No, a very practical example for that. Let's say you're at the office, you're practicing, you're working. Your wife calls. Two things you can do. You can put the phone, you can ignore the call and continue working, or you take the call by stopped working. That means you have to stop your work to take the call. If you are not taking the call, means that means you have other high priorities. That means you have to work. You cannot do like work and also take the call. Through that, what is happening? The focus will not be there. For example, whatever your wife is telling you, you cannot completely understand because you're also working. Attention is missed. So this thing we need to check always, dear devotees. This is a very practical example where we can only do one. We can only stay in one boat. We cannot stay in two boats. We cannot balance. Please understand. I can either be spiritual or material. I cannot do both spiritual and material. That means the life of a sadhaka should be transformed in such a way that it should be completely spiritual. It cannot be half and half. Now that is also a state in sadhaka's life. But slowly, that half and half should be transformed completely to spiritual. That means the moment you begin working for Krishna, everything, whatever you do, you're working for only for the pleasure of the Lord, then that 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 staying in the external energy will be reduced. And that sadhaka will will relish in his heart and heart. That is the science of Krishna consciousness. No, that is the whole reason why Narottam Das Thakur says, "You are my only shelter, Master." That is the reason Srila Prabhupada says, "You are the only shelter for me." Because their business is nothing else. Now, if a sadhaka really wants to be happy through the process, because jiva, Jiva's desire is always to be happy. He really had to come to that state. If that state is not achieved, it's a problematic situation for us. Please try to understand. Krishna consciousness is that. Krishna consciousness is not something else. That is the real Krishna consciousness in our life. Aspire for that. Develop consciousness for that. Think about this. What can be done? How I have asked this question. What needs to be done to advance further in Krishna consciousness? Ask this genuine question in the heart. Inquire. Inquire from the spiritual master. What can be done? What else more needs to be done? Then they will guide us. Through that guidance, we make a lot of advancement. Only through service one will develop relationship. Pranipatena pariprashna. Seva, when that seva is manifested, then the relationship is. I remember this is a golden statement when my spiritual master speaks. He says this. He says to all of us, he says, if you really want to aspire or to develop service or to develop relationship with the Guru Parampara, what is the reason? Serve the spiritual master. When a sadhaka serves, then what happens? Then the relationship is established with the Guru Parampara. Prabhupada will be very happy. Because what are we doing? We are not trying to find anything else. We are only finding this. What will give satisfaction to my heart? What I should do, what I should aspire, what are the goals? In with what consciousness I should lead the life? Two things only, dear devotees. There is no this Krishna made this creation very simple. It's not complex. It's only two. Either we need to hold him or his energy. That's it. Spiritual master will help us to hold him. That is the duty, that is the responsibility of him. So you need to find that kind of a person in our life. And when we have them, we need to follow. This is what we need to aspire for. There's only two things, very simple. The process is very simple, it's not complex. Either you hold the material nature or you hold the Lord. Hare Krishna. Let's stop here. Anyone would like to add anything? Would like to share? Otherwise, we'll stop.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
All goes to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, so my question, what I understood from your talk today, that effort, endeavor and effort, both are very important, because if we just show our endeavor, but there is no effort, so I cannot reach the goal of getting the Krishna, and with the help of Guru Acharya. And Prabhuji, I have a question. So the spiritual energy, material energy, and in the middle is the Tatastha Shakti, which is marginal energy. So Prabhuji, we are in the marginal potency. That's our nature of the living entities. So you mean that we have to go towards this totally the spiritual, that should be our goal with the help of acharyas? That's what you want to say? Because that's our
Actually,
nature, the marginal potency, that's where we are in this material world, right?
so as per the arrangement of the Lord, the jiva is always the marginal energy. So that means jiva is kept in a neutral plane. Through that neutral plane, the jiva is given opportunities to either take shelter of the material energy or the internal energy. That means external energy or the internal energy. So, which is antarangika shakti, bahirangika shakti. So, the jiva has been given choices. We see, right? We see very practically this in our life. We have a choice to get up in the morning, or we have a choice to sleep. We have a choice to go to the office, or we have a choice to stay at the home. We have a choice to take care of the children, or we have a choice to not take care of them. So continuously we have choices in our life. So the selection of the choices depends on on how we want to choose our independence. So as the jiva is always because that's how it's been kept. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, he had a choice to take shelter of his father or the Lord. If he would have if he would have taken the shelter of his father, the problems wouldn't have been come. That means his father wouldn't have been forcing him to, him to kill. He would have ignored him. But he did not select that choice. He selected the choice of staying with the Lord. So that's also one of the reasons why Prahlad Maharaj, he always says that, let me serve my spiritual master. I don't want to go to the spiritual world, my dear father. I want to be here and then serve my spiritual master because he gave me everything. So that is his choice. What is he doing? He's giving that independence. No, he might not be a big person like Brahmaji, where he can create the creation, but he's a small person. But what is he doing? Through that action, he's actually submitting himself to the Lord. So that is the choices. So likewise, just like Prahlad Maharaj has the choices, we also have the choice. Because through choice only one can express his love. The Lord did not give us choices, then how do we express love towards Him? We cannot express. So He gives us. He gives us those opportunities. That is the whole reason why He kept us in the marginal energy. Because we could see both the things and then we have a choice of selection. For example, if a person sees a woman, he can see as a mother, or he can also see as an object of enjoyment. That's his choice. If he sees her as a mother, then that's he's been kept in the right energy. But he sees her as an object of enjoyment, then that's where he's kept in the external energy. Because now what is he doing? He's trying to misuse that independence. Through that misusing, he's actually degrading his consciousness further and further. Now, that is the whole point why our acharyas tell us that we shouldn't be on the bodily conception of life. Hare Krishna. So we'll discuss further on this tomorrow.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Just
Thank you.
wanted to
Hare
give that
Krishna.
synopsis. Making sense, Amma?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. I'll stop here. Continue our discussion tomorrow, and then tomorrow and day after tomorrow, and then after that I'll be in Tampa. I'm very excited to meet all of
Very
you.
cool. We are also excited, Prabhuji, to meet
Hope
and to get your association.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for all your wonderful and nice points about the austerity, Prabhuji. And especially, we are starting this Kartik month. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for all your blessings.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much. Let us all offer humble obeisances unto all Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are just like desires who can fulfill the desires of everyone. They are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam bhavanebhyam vaishnavebhyam namo Anantapati Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna
all
Gauri
very much.
Pranam. Pranam. All goes to Shobha. Thank you for the
Bye.
wonderful lecture, Prabhuji. I will now accept over Vani.
Yes, beta. Please.